for your patience. That's really appreciated. So, welcome to this webinar entitled Email Marketing, the Profitable Component of Your E-Commerce Strategy. Some of you may know me. I certainly recognize a few names up there. My name is Phil Kay, and I've been at Brightpearl for a couple of years now, and I now manage the partnerships to ensure that our present and future customers are informed of interesting complementary or integrated technologies and solutions in the SMB, multi-channel retail and wholesale sector to help them maximize growth and profitability. So please use the question box at any time to ask any questions, and we'll address those at the end of the webinar, and I can field those to John for you. Feel free to use social media and so on as well if you wish to, add any questions or whatever. We'll pick them up in due course. So if I have the next slide. So quick sort of agenda, a quick introduction to Brightpearl and John Hayes, just for you guys that don't know fully what Brightpearl is about. How to build powerful email lists that will help you drive brand loyalty, generate repeat sales and increase profits. How social media and mobile technology have enhanced email marketing's proposition and delivered a more flexible, targeted solution. How you can launch strategic, targeted campaigns that will start driving revenues within the next 30 days or sooner. And then we'll end with some Q&A, as kind of mentioned. So very quickly, for those of you watching today who don't know much about Brightpearl, or it's been a long time since you have had contact with us, we are a multi-channel retail management platform, helping retailers and wholesalers bring together orders, inventory, customer data, counting, associated reporting, and marketing into a single integrated system to give you a one-stop shop for growth activity. So if I could just grab the next slide. Thank you. Quick potted history. Lush Longboards. We started, Chris Tanner and Andrew Mulvenna actually founded a company called Lush Longboards whilst at university studying computer science. And whilst they were growing that business, Chris started to write Brightpearl for use in his own business, as he found that trying to manage the disparate systems that we're all very familiar with for processes such as order management, fulfillment, stock control, customers, accounting, and so on, was just choking his ability to concentrate on the core activity. In other words, those things which are key to growing the business. So how that then ensued was that business, actually, Lush Longboards, was sold in 2007 because, of course, the demand for Brightpearl started growing, and he decided to focus on that as a full-time venture. And now, of course, in 2015, we have over 1,200 customers across the world and employ 90 people out of our HQ in Bristol in the United Kingdom, and a satellite office growing all the time in San Francisco too. So the Brightpearl solution, we're a multi-channel retail management system serving the SMB sector, typically from startup to £20 million. And what we found to date is that we're particularly strong where businesses require an integrated, easy to use and cost-effective back office system for both on and offline channels, such as shops, trade counters, wholesale, phone orders, and so on, in addition, of course, to their online channels. We're strong in any traditional retail vertical, really, where inventory is required to be controlled. Example verticals include fashion, homeware, consumer goods, electricals, health and beauty, and so on. And as the system is cloud-based and browser-based, it's accessible from any location on any device, which is very helpful to today's business owners who can benefit from up-to-the-second information literally at any time, anywhere. Of course, I won't go into the detail now because this is a focus on John today, but we do help retailers manage the heart of their business, bringing orders, inventory, customer data, counting, reporting, marketing, and so on into one place, as many of you will already know. So if what I've said in the past few minutes resonates with you now or in the future for your business, and you feel it'd be worth exploring whether Brightpearl could be the right system for you to take your business to the next level, please, of course, ping an email to partners@brightpearl.com with iContacts in the subject field anytime, and I will, of course, introduce you to one of my colleagues for an informal introductory telephone call to see whether we can help you. Okay, that's all I'll say though about Brightpearl at this stage. So, introducing John Hayes to you, I'd like to introduce you to our main speaker. He has more than 20 years experience in online marketing and e-commerce, and he worked with major technology brands including iContact, where he worked as a marketing strategist and contributing author, demonstrating how organizations of all sizes can maximize their potential from email, social media, and content marketing-led strategies. He is the author of 3 books: Becoming the Expert, Enhancing Your Business Through Thought Leadership Marketing, a crash course in email marketing for small and medium-sized businesses, and Bricks and Mortar Author, What Real-World Businesses Can Learn from the Internet. He is a regular speaker at events throughout the UK, Europe, and the US, and is an avid blogger. So, passing over to you now, John. Thanks very much, and look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Thank you very much, Phil, and thank you very much for inviting me along today to talk about email marketing. Yep, my name is John Hayes. My contact details are on the screen there. If you have any questions, I believe there will be time at the end of today's session for Q&A, but if you're shy or if something comes to mind on the commute home tonight and you want to ask me any questions relating to email marketing or social media marketing, please feel free to drop me an email, jhayes@icontact.com, or you can find me on Twitter, John_W_Hayes. Alternatively, you can pick up the phone. I'm always available on 07952 779 076. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Do I have access to the slides? Sorry.
Yeah, John, do you want me to make you presenter?
Yes, please.
Okay. Right, you should have control any second. Is that coming up for you?
Nope, I've completely lost it.
Oh, it looks like it's doing something.
Sorry for this, we have a few gremlins in the system today.
Okay, let's switch back to us and just let me know when you want to change slides and I can do that for you.
No problem. Okay, so if you can go on to the next slide, that'd be great. Okay, so just a brief mission statement while I'm on here today. Today we're going to be looking at how marketers and business owners can successfully build and segment a responsive email marketing subscriber list. We're going to look at creating compelling content which engages prospects and clients and ultimately helps you sell more, because at the end of the day, that's what we're all here for. We're going to look at benchmarking, testing, and improving your email marketing campaigns. We're going to look at creating socially enabled campaigns that have potential to go viral. We're going to be looking at generating new leads, engaging prospects and existing clients, and managing that relationship via social media. And finally, we're going to look at incorporating email and social media marketing together into a wider content marketing-led strategy. I should start by saying one of the reasons why I agreed to do the webinar today was I spend a lot of time speaking to marketers, small and medium-sized businesses, hell of a lot of retailers, a lot of people who perhaps are on eBay and Amazon and developing their own online stores. And they tell me that email marketing is on their list of things to do. Now, normally it's under social media marketing, normally it's under paid search marketing, and they're just not getting around to do it. And it's particularly crazy because email marketing has been around for a hell of a long time, and yet it still remains one of the most cost-effective methods of marketing to your audience today. If you have a list of subscribers, you really shouldn't be sitting on that list. You should be engaging them now and driving repeat business. Email marketing is retention marketing. Now, as anyone who's been in business for any length of time will tell you, it is much more cost effective to retain an existing client than to win a new one. So if you compare it to more expensive acquisition marketing channels like paid search, like comparison shopping, like traditional broadcast or print advertising, it is a very cost-effective way of promoting your business. So if it is sitting on your list of things to do at the moment, perhaps you should move it up a couple of items. And hopefully by the end of today's session, you will see some value in doing that. And can we move on to the next slide, please? Okay, so as I mentioned, email marketing's been around for a hell of a long time. That's actually nearly 36 years old now. The very first email marketing campaign was sent by a company called DEC. Now, DEC made these gorgeous desktop computers back in the mid-70s. And they sent their first email marketing campaign to a list of subscribers that they acquired from the old ARPANET system. The old ARPANET system is the system that actually predates the World Wide Web or the Internet as most of us know it. Now, it's perhaps ironic, but the first email marketing message wasn't built on permission. They basically found these 400 names and they sent it out. So the first email marketing message ever sent was also the first spam message ever sent. And us who work in email marketing, we've been trying to combat the scourge of spam ever since. We don't like spam. Email marketing success is built on the permission a subscriber has given you to contact them. And if you're working with any reputable email marketing service provider like iContacts or any of our competitors, if they're a decent company, they won't tolerate spam. Spam hurts everybody in the industry. So please remember, you need permission from your subscribers to contact them, and your messages also need to be relevant, engaging, and timely. And if they're not, they're essentially spam. If you can move on to the next slide, please. So despite its age, email marketing remains the most cost-effective marketing strategy on or offline available to marketeers. And we ran this report last year. iContacts is part of a company called Fission, who were called Vocus. We were acquired last year. Just to clarify the name on the diagram there on the screen. Now, if you can see the blue line and the yellow line, these are the channels that are currently being used to engage prospects and customers by marketeers in the United Kingdom. And it's great to see that email marketing and social media marketing are level pegging with each other. I personally believe, whereas a lot of people said that social media marketing was going to kill email, I personally believe that social media marketing has actually enhanced email marketing's proposition. You can now socialize an email campaign that goes out to your dedicated list of subscribers. And if that message resonates with them, if it's engaging, if it's relevant, and if it's timely, there is a good chance that they will share that message with their friends, their colleagues, their family. When I think of successful email marketing and successful social media marketing, I always like to think of the phrase, birds of a feather flock together. So if you have 100 people in your list, or 1,000 people in your list, or 10,000 people in your list, it doesn't really matter the size of your list, there is a very, very good chance they will have friends, family, and colleagues who may also be interested in your product or service as well. So instead of killing it, like Mark Zuckerberg said several years ago now, social media has actually strengthened email marketing's proposition and turned it from a pure retention marketing tool into something of an acquisition marketing tool. I also like to think of email marketing and social media as fairly different as well, because social, as the name would suggest, is very much a social environment. It's like being down the pub or the cafe or a restaurant. Nobody wants to be sold to in that environment. Yes, they'll engage you with conversation, but they don't want to be sold to. Email marketing, on the other hand, or the email inbox, is very much a place of work. It's a place where people pitch for jobs. It's a place where people send CVs. It's a place where people send invoices. It's a place where you hold your receipts and and store records of your conversations. It's very much a workplace environment. So in the ideal world, you will have the same people following you on social media as you will subscribe to your email marketing lists. You can engage with them daily via your social media, and then you sell to them via email. So to use a fishing analogy, social media is the bait and email marketing is the hook that you can sell to. If we can go on to the next slide, please. So social media has strengthened email marketing, and yet mobile has strengthened email marketing yet again. Your email inbox is very much part of the smartphone that you carry around in your pocket at all times. Email is no longer tethered to a desktop device. It's with you. Yeah, more often than not 24 hours a day. It's very often the last thing I look at night and the first thing I look at in the morning. And we've done some research here. And 65% of all email gets opened on a mobile device first. So if you're going to take anything away from that, it is your emails now need to be mobile friendly. Not only do your emails need to be mobile friendly, your websites need to be mobile friendly as well. There was a discussion or an article on TameBay today talking about Google's recent changes with the mobile search engine results pages, and how Google were going to give permission to pages that were optimized for mobile. And basically the conversation was saying that nothing much has happened. Well, nothing much will happen if you're not optimizing your website for mobile in terms of conversion, and that should really be the number one reason why you optimize your sites now for mobile, because the conversions are happening on mobile. People are receiving emails on mobile, people are landing on your websites on mobile, and people will purchase on mobile as well. So again, that probably needs to be moved further up your list as well. And as I say, it's definitely strengthened email marketing's proposition, because now email is no longer tethered to a desktop device. Tuesday at 11 o'clock or Thursday at 11 o'clock is no longer the best time to send an email. The best time to send an email is when it is most timely, most engaging, and most relevant. So if you own, say, a sports retailer, perhaps you sell fishing tackle, perhaps the best time to engage with your clients is when they're sitting on a riverbank and they're actively using fishing tackle and actively losing fishing tackle. Perhaps that's the best time to sell it. If you're targeting young mothers, perhaps the best time to target them now would be in the early evening after the kids have gone to bed and they're perhaps relaxing with their a tablet computer or mobile phone in front of the television. So mobile has definitely freed email marketing and again strengthened its proposition. If we could move on to the next slide, please. So one thing we don't do, and we've touched on this briefly before at iContact, we don't like spam. Spam is unsolicited commercial email. So if you are using a system like iContact or any of our reputable competitors, we do not allow you to use purchase lists, and we will not sell your lists. So any data that you upload into our system is 100% secure. Nobody else will see that information. We will not pass that information on to anybody else. And we don't allow the use of purchase lists because, again, there is no permission. Email marketing success is based on permission. And essentially, if you're in the B2C world, which I'm guessing most of you are, it's illegal. It's spam, and it can get you into a lot of trouble. Also, you'll find it doesn't work. It's a waste of time and effort. And if we catch you sending spam to our system, we will close your account down. and you will have to re-engage your lists. You'll probably have to move them elsewhere. One of the reasons we don't allow you to use purchase lists, even if your list broker tells you they have sought permission, they haven't given you permission. So, you know, we see them as incredibly spammy, and again, we see a lot of spam complaints coming through for people who try to use purchase lists, and also the quality of the lists is never very good. They tend to bounce all over the place as well. So at iContacts, we don't sell lists, and we don't allow the use of purchase lists, and most other reputable email marketing firms will be in exactly the same position as well. If we can move on, please. Okay, whenever I go out on the road and deliver my crash course in email marketing, to audiences around the UK and Europe, I always like to ask the audience, you know, what is this symbol? And, you know, there's a number of replies. People will say, oh, it's the @ symbol, or it's, yeah, it's the front of the Twitter handle, or somebody once told me in Hungarian, it's called kukac, which means snail, and I guess if you kind of turn it on its side, it kind of looks a little bit like a snail. I'll give you a clue on the next slide to what I think this is, though, and this perhaps might age a few people on today's session. Okay, we've lost our slides there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Right, there we go.
Okay, so this, as I say, this will age a few people there. So box of Ferrero Rocher on the screen there. And bear in mind this is connected to the @ symbol there. And if we go on to the next slide, it will prove this method in my madness. Okay, so whenever you see this symbol, whether it is in an email address, jhayes@icontact.com, or the front of a Twitter handle at John_W_Hayes, I want you to think of the word ambassador. Nothing should leave your organization that you would be ashamed of. It should be focusing on the most positive aspects of your business. So, you know, if you have your junior staff who are tweeting about your work, they need to be set boundaries, and they need to have rules in place so they know how far they can take those conversations. If people are sending out professional emails, you know, you need to make sure that the language is appropriate and it doesn't reflect badly on your business, because as soon as an email goes out, or as soon as a social media post goes out, you know, it's there forever and it can come back and bite you. If we can go on to the next slide, please. Okay, so some of the reasons why you need to get involved in email marketing and social media marketing now is the return on investment. Email marketing is the most effective form of marketing on or offline available to any entrepreneur. One of the reasons why I love working in email marketing is there isn't a single business who could not benefit from email marketing. It's a recession-proof business, really. You know, retailers, hoteliers, restaurateurs, financiers. I couldn't think of a business that couldn't benefit from email marketing. As I say, it's a retention marketing tool, and our research has shown us the average ROI, or return on investment, from email marketing is approximately 43 to 1. So for every £1 you spend on email marketing, you can expect to see a return of around £43. Now that sounds a hell of a lot, and that is based on best practices. If you're following some of the best practices that we're going to be talking about today. Now, I've seen email marketers have a much larger return on investment from that, and I've also seen email marketers returning absolutely nothing because they're not following best practices. There was actually a blog post went out on the iContact blog yesterday, I believe, looking at how ROI has actually grown recently, and we're finding businesses that are getting more sophisticated in their approach to email marketing are seeing huge steps forward in their return on investment, and particularly if they're using marketing automation tools. And iContact, we have just launched what we call a smarter marketing platform called iContact Pro, and that lets you set up marketing automation. Also lets you manage your social media marketing as well through that platform. If anyone would like to see that system, go onto our website, icontact.com, and click on the iContact Pro link. Now, I talked about social media enhancing email marketing's reputation. Now, these figures are slightly out of date now, but going back a couple of years, the average number of friends people had on Facebook were 130. Average number of followers on Twitter, 126. Remember that phrase, birds of a feather flock together. If you're sending an email to somebody who has a previous engagement with you, who's given you permission to contact them, there is a very good chance they will have friends, colleagues, or relatives who are also interested in your product or service as well. So, as well as sending out your emails, you also need to be engaging them via email. You also need to be socializing your email marketing messages as well. And you can do that very easily just by adding simple Facebook like buttons or Twitter buttons or Pinterest buttons or LinkedIn buttons in with your email marketing campaigns as well, depending on the nature of your business. If we could go on to the next slide, please. Okay, so email marketing is the profitable component of everything else you do to market your business. If you're spending money on things like paid search, SEO, magazine advertising, television advertising, radio advertising, the chances are you will not see a return on that investment or as healthy a return as you would hope for unless you are engaging email marketing. In the past, I worked with an agency who ran the paid search campaigns for several large high street retailers, household names, and they saw very little, if any, return from their paid search activity. And I'm sure there's some people on the line today who experience the same thing. Paid search is an acquisition marketing channel, and as such, it is very expensive. Once you've acquired that person through paid search, you will perhaps see your profit 2 or 3 sales down the line via your retention marketing strategies, which are email. If anyone's selling on eBay or Amazon, again, they are very expensive acquisition marketing channels. The terrible thing about eBay and Amazon is every time you get repeat business from eBay or Amazon, you're paying to acquire that same customer again and again. One of the problems with eBay and Amazon is that they own the customer data. You do not own that customer data, so you need to reach that customer through other methods and get them to subscribe to your list. Now, perhaps you do that through stationery or packaging. Perhaps you do that through social media. Perhaps you do that through your customer service emails. But ultimately, you want to acquire people and you want them to subscribe to your lists. If we could move on to the next slide, please. Okay, so now I'm going to give you 10 rules for successful email marketing. And as I say, these are very, very simple rules, and these are the kind of rules that you can get up and running in the next 30 days so you can start seeing a return from email marketing now. I will say, if you are building a list, email addresses don't last very long. They're best consumed fresh. The average age of an email address is 18 months. People change service providers, people change jobs. So, if you've been taking the time to build up your list and you hope to start hitting them, when you've got 1,000 or 10,000 names in there, you will automatically lose a huge chunk of those contacts. So if you've acquired email lists through sales or through other types of engagements, please start hitting them with emails now, because you ultimately, if you lose them after 18 months, you'll never see a return on there. So if you can go on to the first rule, please. Okay, so rule number 1, be relevant and be useful. A monthly email to your entire list is not a strategy, it's an afterthought. So you need to build a strategy based on relevancy to your target market and the quality of your message. If you've got nothing to say, don't say it, even if it is the second Tuesday of the month. And I say this because I meet a lot of people who tell me, yeah, I do email marketing, we send out a monthly newsletter, and inevitably that monthly newsletter goes out on the second Tuesday of the month. Inevitably, the second Monday of the month in the office, certainly in the marketing department, is chaos as the marketeer runs around and asks anybody if they have any content to share. A newsletter is quickly cobbled together. It's neither timely, it's neither relevant, it's neither engaging. It's sent out and absolutely nothing happens. I would say if you've got nothing to say, don't say it. But as busy professional people who are passionate about our businesses, of course you've got something to say. And I believe the best kind of marketing will always solve a problem for your potential customers. Now, if you're in retailing, that problem might be something like, what to cook sausages on the weekend on a barbecue. Perhaps it's going to be sunny the weekend, or perhaps something to wear to a wedding, or perhaps a new piece of technology, or perhaps a new piece of equipment for a sports person. It all solves problems, and you've got to get to know your customers and solve their problems. And when you can solve their problems, your campaigns will be incredibly useful. They will drive higher conversions, and they will be shared more widely across the social environment. If you can move on to the next slide, please. Rule number 2, less is more. Select just one offer per email and segment your list accordingly. If you have a range of complementary products, choose a hero product to focus on and add simple links to promote the additional items. Think of your email like a menu in a restaurant. Too many dishes to choose from and nothing looks appetizing. Now, I always refer to Gordon Ramsay's kitchen nightmares when I talk about this. He goes into these failing restaurants, and one of the first things he does is pick up a copy of the menu, and more often than not, it's more like a multi-page document, and there's several pages of starters, there's several pages of main courses, there's a brightly colored kids menu with photographs of everything, there's a wine list the length of your arm. And the first thing he does is rip that menu up and produce a very simple menu on one side of A4 paper. There are 3 starters, there are 3 main courses, there are 3 desserts, and there's a nice complimentary wine list that goes with it. When people sit down in the restaurants, they can make the decisions really quickly. Everything looks delicious, and the restaurant can turn more meals over in a shorter period of time. So cut down on your content. If you are a fashion retailer, just send an email with one offer on that. If you're segmenting your lists properly, this won't be difficult. If you know that people have previously bought ladies' fashion from you, you can just send them emails about ladies' fashion. What if they've got a husband or a boyfriend or a father or a son? Well, you could add a secondary link into your email. And if people click on that secondary link, you can then add them to 2 lists, and you could send them 2 emails as opposed to 1. If we can move on to rule number 3, please. So rule number 3, more is more. So now that you've made your campaigns more relevant, it's time to increase the frequency of your emails. If your email is relevant and interesting, and your subscribers will welcome the increased touch points. A lot of people get really nervous when I talk about this. I want your marketers to send more email campaigns. And if you know your subscribers and you have a proper relationship with them, and you know what they previously bought, and you're sending them relevant, timely, and engaging emails, they won't be upset that you're increasing the volume, particularly at peak periods of time. Now, it's still May, and it might sound crazy, but very, very soon we're all going to start thinking about Christmas, or the holidays, as my colleagues in the United States call it. And as a retailer, particularly at one of these peak periods of time, you need to be hitting your customers several times a week. If you've segmented your lists properly and you're sending them relevant and engaging content that you know they're interested in, you will have very few unsubscribes. If you're just still sending emails blindly and just blasting them out there, that's when you'll lose people. So make your emails relevant, make them timely and engaging, and then you can certainly increase your volume. Rule number 4, please. Okay, headline news or subject lines. Your subject line should scream benefits. So I like to think of it in the same way as a newspaper editor writes a headline. It should tell the full story and entice the subscriber to read more. You've got to give your subject line as much thought as your body text. Your subject line is your first line of defense between your subscribers and the delete button. So when I say think like a newspaper editor, if you're walking past the newspaper stand and you see all the newspapers sitting out on the newspaper stand, the first thing you'll see is the headline. And that headline will tell you the full story. It doesn't matter if you don't pick up that paper, you will know what's happened. If you pick up that paper and you read the opening paragraph, you will know the full story again, but a little bit more detail. If you then go onto one of the inside pages and read the full story in more depth, you'll know the full story again, but in just a little bit more detail. So you need to tell the full story with your subject line. I still see subject lines that say things like, May newsletter, or newsletter issue 12, or summer sale. These things make me say, so what? If I'm not engaged by that subject line, I'm not going to open that email, and particularly now on mobile devices as well, where perhaps all you will see is that subject line. You really need to engage people with that email. Now, if you think of a tweet being 140 characters, best practice dictates that email subject lines should perhaps be shorter. We used to say that 50 characters was the optimum length for an email subject line. I have read some evidence recently suggesting slightly longer subject lines are more useful, but you would always need to have that really relevant part at the beginning of the subject line. Scream out like it's a benefit headline. We can move on to rule number 4 now, please. Okay, automate and nurture. Again, too many people send email marketing newsletters, literally seconds after they've created them, and that's not a very, clever use of time. I believe even if you're a small business, you can carve several hours out of your working week and use it to set up multiple campaigns, which you can then distribute over a specific period of time. This has a number of benefits, and it means that there's not one single email going out to your entire list, which is written minutes before, so the chances are there'll be no spelling mistakes in the subject lines and all of the links will work. Also, if you've segmented your list and you're only sending out relevant and engaging and timely email communications that are distributed over a specific period of time, that will level out some of the peaks and troughs that cause problems in your business. If you're hitting your entire list once a week or once a month, your warehouse is going to go crazy. Your customer service team is going to go crazy because, you're all of a sudden going to get a lot of orders in, or hopefully you're going to get a lot of orders in. But if you distribute your emails over the week or over the month evenly, it should really get rid of that boom and bust and make your business much more efficient and reduce the risks of things breaking down and you providing a bad service. You can also set up things like autoresponders to deliver a predefined series of messages. So perhaps somebody has purchased an item from you, they can receive a message a couple of days later asking them to leave feedback for the item. Perhaps they could receive another message a week later asking them to look at complementary products, etc., etc. If you're in the business of selling complex solutions or high-tech products, perhaps you could deliver a series of educational emails. If you're in the business of selling something like software or a solution, perhaps you could build a carefully crafted sale message delivered over a specific period of time. And as I say, marketing automation tools really help marketeers deliver more sophisticated email marketing campaigns, and people engaging with marketing automation tools are seeing more significant returns on investments. And things that iContact Pro, for example, can help you do. It can help you set up specific email campaigns depending on how people have engaged with previous campaigns, how people have engaged with previous social media campaigns, whether people have visited your website, whether people have clicked on certain links. So it will deliver the right message to the right person at the right time, and it will constantly work away in the background. You definitely don't need to be sitting on top of your email for it to be working for you. So we can go on to rule number 6, please. Take time for text. Make good use of real text, not graphics at the top of your email. A graphic-heavy email will appear blank until the subscriber is selected to download the graphics. Real text in the message will remain visible even in HTML emails and entice subscribers to open the complete email. Now, Gmail has got around this to a certain extent, and they're using cached images now in some of their emails. But if you're still using Outlook, or you're opening your emails on various mobile clients, you'll see that big empty box with a little red cross on it, and it won't entice people to open that email further. So if you've got a great subject line and you've got a piece of real text at the top of your email, that's there's a real benefit for continuing to open that email. It will entice people to engage with your email that much further. Also, it will download super fast, and it doesn't really matter what people are reading their emails on. Remember, the email environment, is a very uncertain environment. People could be checking their emails on really old laptops. People could be checking their emails on old Blackberries, on old Nokia phones. You just don't know what people are opening their emails on. So, try and keep things as simple as possible. I'm a great believer in real text emails. Sometimes they look more personal than graphic-heavy emails. If you are using graphics in your emails, keep them really simple. I'm a great believer in the KISS design principle. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't try and recreate your entire website in your emails, because it just won't work. And remember, any design has to be fat finger friendly. So if there's a call to action there, that needs to be a big chunky button that people can click on and land on your website, which again needs to be mobile friendly as well. On to rule number 7 now. So get social. We've talked about this previously. Use your email campaigns to encourage subscribers to engage with your social media activity on Facebook or Twitter or any of the other social networks that you engage with. Social media will not replace your email activity, but will allow you to build your brand across your subscribers' social networks. So as I say, engage with people via social, socialize with people via social, sell to them via email. Rule number 8, please. Okay, rule number 8 is test. And when I say test, I don't mean send yourself your email. I'm talking about testing subject lines. I'm talking about testing calls to action. I'm talking about testing HTML emails versus text emails. So whenever possible, test your subject lines and creatives, then optimize accordingly. Split testing doesn't have to be complicated. Hit 20% of your list with 2 different emails, monitor the response, and then hit the remaining 80% with the most successful email. The most important thing is you learn from all of your tests. A test can never fail. If a test email doesn't get a great result, you will know never to do that again. A lot of people ask me about benchmarking email marketing success. What is a good open rate for a retailer? What's a good click-through rate for a retailer? What's a good conversion rate? And you can go onto Google and you can look at some of our competitors' websites, and they will give you benchmark figures. The big problem with these benchmark figures, I believe, is you're comparing yourself against people who may or may not be following best practice. So the benchmark figure for an open rate in your vertical might be 20%. And you may currently be getting 19 or 20%. And you might be thinking, hey, I'm doing pretty good. But, the only person you should really benchmark yourself against is yourself. Many years ago, I used to work in the newspaper industry, and the managing director, the newspaper I worked at a time when the newspaper industry was entering a decline, and this was prior to the internet coming along and completely raining on its parade. And he said there's no victory in being the last to die when everybody's terminally ill. So don't compare yourself to competitors who may not be adhering to best practices. If you're currently getting a 20% open rate, test your campaigns and strive to get a 30% open rate. If you're currently getting a 5% click-through rate, again, test your campaigns, test your calls to action, test the images you use, test the landing pages, and strive to get that greater open rate, that greater click-through rate, and that greater conversion rate. Rule number 9, please. So cleanse. Email marketing A lot of people think of email marketing as incredibly cheap. I actually believe that's incredibly damaging to the medium. If you think of something as cheap, you don't put the time and effort into it. I believe email marketing is incredibly cost effective. Despite this, if you're spending time and effort and money on sending to email addresses in your list which are no longer available, or perhaps they've bounced, or perhaps they're just not engaged with any of your emails over a significant period of time, you are still paying to target that list of people. It can also damage your reputation as well if you're constantly hitting emails that bounce. Email marketing service providers like iContacts use bounced emails to identify spammers, because spammers acquire their lists in so many dubious ways. Their emails tend to bounce all over the place, and if you reach a certain threshold, which is a very low percentage of emails on your list that bounce, you will have to answer some questions about the quality of your list, and you may not be able to send again. So bounced emails can be expensive, and they can also damage your reputation as well. So take the time to see who's opening your emails, who's clicking on emails. If they're not engaging, if they're not purchasing, try re-engaging them. Try sending them a specific offer. Try, if you have a customer support team, pick up the phone and speak to them. But if they're still not engaging, there's a chance that they may not be there anymore. That inbox isn't valid anymore. So take the time to cut the dead wood from your list. And if we move on to rule number 10, please. So rule number 10, understand your ROI. A client once told me that their email marketing campaigns did not yield a great ROI. He told me that a single untargeted email to a list of 15,000 names only generated 18 sales with an average spend of around $48. That meant for every dollar he spent, he saw more than $8 back, with 692% ROI, which is massive. I suggested he compare that to his ROI from his paid search and start getting more strategic about his emails. And what we did is we went into his CRM system and we learned what customers were buying. This gentleman sold sportswear, running shoes, football boots, tennis shoes, and he knew absolutely everything about every order that he'd ever received. And what he was able to do, he was able to target people who had bought a specific type of shoe, a specific size of shoe, and send them very, very relevant offers. And instead of sending that one monthly email, he was able to send multiple emails every single day, depending on the type of stock that he had coming in. His ROI from email marketing went through the roof, and he was able to scale back his paid search efforts significantly. So again, it's all about delivering timely, relevant, and engaging campaigns. It sounds pretty obvious, but if you don't understand your ROI, you will not invest the time and effort in email marketing, and you won't see the kinds of returns that you should expect from such a powerful medium. And if we can move on to the next slide, please. Okay, so that's just at the end of the presentation. I believe we've got some time now for a little bit of Q&A if you have any questions. As I say, if anything comes to mind afterwards, you can contact me, jhayes@icontact.com, or on Twitter, John_W_Hayes. You want to learn more about iContact email marketing, icontact.com, or follow them on Twitter or Facebook at iContact, facebook.com/icontact. And do we have any questions?
Hi, yes, it's Grania from Brightpearl. Phil's had to step out, but yeah, we've had a few questions. One of the first questions actually was, are we going to be sharing these slides? And yes, we will be. And then we have a few questions from Irfan. So he has asked, could you give an example of an excellent subject line?
Okay, put me on the spot here. Okay, an example of an excellent subject line. You're a fashion retailer. You sell summer dresses. You can guarantee next day delivery. You've checked the weather forecast. It's going to be a beautiful sunny day on Saturday. You know you know that your customers have previously bought women's clothing. You know what sizes they bought. Hot, size 8, summer dress, buy today, wear tomorrow. You know, it tells the full story.
Brilliant. Yeah, sounds good to me. So the Earthman goes on to ask, he noticed that urgency seems to work and curiosity. You know, their company director reckons direct subject lines are better. Tried curiosity and urgency, and it seems to work better for him. What's your opinion? Do you think it needs to be direct, or a bit of curiosity, or a bit of urgency?
Well, I think urgency is always great, particularly if you have limited stock, or certainly set the perception of limited stock. You know, we have a customer in the United States who sells wine, and they have different daily deals, and they're purposely limited so that their clients know that if they don't jump online as soon as that email comes on, they're going to miss out on that opportunity. If you're selling fast-moving, you know, goods, you know, you want to create that sense of urgency, whether it's, you know, the latest, the hottest fashion trends, or whether it's, you know, the must-have toy this Christmas. You know, tell people your last 10 items. You know, hurry, stocks are limited. I think curious is fine. You know, I'll have a quick look at that. But if there's no sense of urgency, you know, the internet and particularly social media, you know, it's like quicksand. It can pull you away really, really quickly. You know, you might think, oh yeah, I might go back and buy that. You never ever do. You know, you've really got to create that sense of urgency and make people complete that purchase. Perhaps it's a 24-hour flash sale. Perhaps it's, you know, your limited availability. Perhaps it's, you know, just something that gets people engaging and converting straight away. Because if you don't get them to convert straight away, you'll lose them.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. So another question we have here is, what about customers I've acquired via eBay or Amazon? Can I email them?
No, eBay and Amazon own the relationship, which is a real pain. But what you can do is, you know, you can market to them in different ways. So, you know, if you're shipping goods yourself, you can you can use your packaging to promote your newsletter. You always need to give people a reason to subscribe to your newsletter. So perhaps you offer a discount off your next purchase, or perhaps you give them, you know, the opportunity to see new products as and when they come in. So that first, you know, chance look products. So use your packaging, you know, use your invoices, your compliment slips. You know, you can put marketing collateral in with your packages. If you are, you know, you can also use your customer service emails as well. So your messages that you got put on your customer service emails, don't forget to join our list and receive a 5% discount off your next purchase, and so on. The problem with eBay and Amazon, as I mentioned, are their acquisition channels. And as acquisition channels, they're incredibly expensive. So ultimately, you want to get them off eBay and onto your own site as quickly as possible, where you can manage the cost of sale and start seeing benefit from repeat business.
Brilliant, thank you. So we've got a question here from David. Wholesale email contact customers. They buy a large range of products from them. How many emails should we be hitting them a month?
So again, it depends on how well you know your customers. It depends on how often they buy from you. You know, perhaps you want to segment your lists up multiple times. There may be people who buy from you every single day, and perhaps they should receive an email, you know, once or even twice a day. You know, there may be people who only occasionally buy from you. Perhaps they receive 1 or 2 emails a month. The thing is, as long as it's relevant and it's engaging and it's interesting, if it's the kind of product that they previously bought off you, you know, that they will welcome that email. As soon as it's, you know, unrelevant and, you know, unengaging and untimely, that's when they will unsubscribe. It's not necessarily a bad thing to have somebody unsubscribe from an email, because perhaps they just don't want to do business with you anymore. You know, so that's a great way of cleansing your lists. But, you know, it's really about getting to know your customers and sending them the emails, you know, accordingly. And, you know, we have clients who send emails daily or multiple times a day. And we have clients who send them less frequently. It all really depends on the nature of your products or services and the buying patterns of your clients. Personally, if I was buying wholesale goods on a regular basis and I missed an opportunity to buy a great lot of products, I would be frustrated. I would rather see emails on a daily basis than miss out on a potential opportunity.
Okay, brilliant, thanks. So it doesn't look like we've got any more questions, but if anyone did want to email any questions over, as John said, you can always email him at jhayes@icontact.com, or you can email hello@brightpearl.com, and we can pass them on to John for you. And we will be sharing the slides with everyone who's attended today, so we'll be getting those. And yeah, thank you again, John, for your time. It's been really informative. Sorry about the technical issues. It seems like GoToWebinar's had a mind of its own today.
Yeah, not a problem. I've enjoyed it, and as I say, I hope everyone found the information useful.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, yeah. Again, thank you very much, and thanks for everyone for joining us today. And we'll send these slides out to you in an email shortly.